Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Ashtaprayasya Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, descriptions of the characteristics of King Puranjan. Text number 28 onwards. So King Puranjan has seen this beautiful lady who was intelligent. So now he is further asking her questions. Tvam havagramapatim vichinvati kim muni drahu vane tad angri kamapta samasta kamam kva padma kosha patitah karagrahat. My dear beautiful girl, you are exactly like the goddess of fortune, or the wife of Lord Shiva, or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. So either you are Lakshmi, or Uma, or Saraswati. Although you must be one of them, I see that you are loitering in this forest. Indeed, you are as silent as the great sages. Is it that you are searching after your own husband? Whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you're so faithful to him, he will come to possess all opulences. I think you must be the goddess of fortune, but I do not see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore, I'm asking you, where have you thrown that lotus? Everyone thinks that his intelligence is perfect. Sometimes one employs his intelligence in the worship of Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva, in order to obtain a beautiful wife. Sometimes, when one wants to become as learned as Lord Brahma, employs his intelligence in the worship of goddess of learning, Saraswati. Sometimes, when one wishes to become as opulent as Lord Vishnu, he worships the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. In this verse, all these inquiries are made by King Puranjan, the living entity who is bewildered and does not know how to employ his intelligence. Intelligence should be employed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as one uses his intelligence in this way, the goddess of fortune automatically becomes favorable to him. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, never remains without her husband, Lord Vishnu. Consequently, when one worships Lord Vishnu, he automatically obtains the favor of the goddess of fortune. One should not, like Ravan, worship the goddess of fortune alone, for she cannot remain alone without her husband. Thus, her other name is Chanjala, or restless. In this verse, it is clear that Puranjan is representing our intelligence while he is talking with the girl. He not only appreciated the shyness of the girl, but actually became more and more attracted by that shyness. He was actually thinking of becoming her husband, and consequently was asking her whether she was thinking of her own prospective husband or whether she was married. This is an example of bhoga ichcha, the desire for enjoyment. One who is attracted by such desires becomes conditioned in this material world, and one who is not so attracted attains liberation. King Puranjan was appreciating the beauty of the girl as if she were the goddess of fortune, but at the same time he was careful to understand that the goddess of fortune cannot be enjoyed by anyone except Lord Vishnu. Since he doubted whether the girl was a goddess of fortune, he inquired about the lotus flower she was not holding. The material world is also the goddess of fortune because the material energy works under the direction of Lord Vishnu, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so many points Prabhupada made. So one is, he was asking this goddess of fortune, who are you? Are you Lakshmi or Uma or Saraswati? Because she was very beautiful. So the point is intelligence intelligence could either be in the mode of goodness, mode of passion, or mode of ignorance. So now it is up to us how we want to cultivate that intelligence. And that intelligence, the material intelligence, is now the soul wants that intelligence, but now he wants to make sure he is rightly situated. If he is rightly situated, he will get the right intelligence. Like Ravan, Prabhupada explains, gives the example of Ravan here. Ravan wanted to enjoy Lakshmi, so he didn't want to serve Ram, or he wanted to enjoy Sita, who was Lakshmi herself, but he didn't want to serve Ram. So that was a wrong intelligence that he had, wrong mentality he had. So similarly, King Puranjan, see the soul in this material world. Idea is we want to enjoy this material world, this Maya. That is why we are in the material world. If we wanted to serve the Lord and serve Lord's energy, we would be in the spiritual world. Because that wasn't the whole idea. That's why we fell down. But now in the material world, we can have the intelligence in the mode of passion, ignorance, or goodness. And then we continue on. And that's why Prabhupada says the material world cannot be enjoyed by any living entity. If one so desires to enjoy it, he immediately becomes a demon like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, or Kansa. Because Ravan wanted to enjoy the goddess of fortune, Sita Devi. He was vanquished with all his family, wealth, and opulence. One can, however, enjoy that Maya bestowed upon the living entity by Lord Vishnu. The satisfaction of one's senses and desires means not enjoying Maya, not the God, means enjoying Maya, not the goddess of fortune. So our processes, like Prabhupada says, last line of the previous paragraph, the material world is also the goddess of fortune because the material energy works under the direction of Lord Vishnu. But here, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna is a Purna Purushottam, and we think we are Purushottam, or we are even Purusha. We are not Purusha. Purusha means enjoyer. Prakriti means to be enjoyed. But we are part and parcel of Supreme Lord, and we think we can be the enjoyer. That's where the whole equation is wrong. But this is the mentality of the living entities in this material world. And Prabhupada says we can enjoy as long as we are serving the Lord. So by His mercy, by His sanction, whatever He gives, that's plenty. So he's further explaining the beauty of this lady. Nasam varo vanya tamam visprik purim imam veeravarena sakam arhasya lankar tum adabhra karmana lokam param shrirev yagya punsa. O greatly fortunate one, it appears that you are none of the women I have mentioned, because I see that your feet are touching the ground. But if you are some women of this planet, you can, like the goddess of fortune, who accompanied by Lord Vishnu increases the beauty of the Vaikuntha planets, also increase the beauty of this city by associating with me. You should understand that I am a great hero and a very powerful king on this planet. So he's telling himself, I'm a great hero. So he's asking the intelligence to come and live in this body with the soul. There is a difference between demoniac mentality and devotional mentality. Devotees know perfectly well that the goddess of fortune, who's a constant companion of Vishnu, Narayan, cannot be enjoyed by a living entity. This higher sense of understanding is called Krishna consciousness. Nonetheless, everyone wants to become happy by imitating the prosperity of Narayan. In this verse, Puranjan states that the girl appears to be an ordinary woman. However, since he is attracted by her, he requests that she become as happy as a goddess of fortune by associating with him. Thus, he introduces himself as a great king with great influence so that she might accept him as her husband and be as happy as a goddess of fortune. To desire to enjoy this material world as a subordinate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is godly. The demons, however, want to enjoy this material world without considering the Supreme Personality of God. This is the difference between a demon and a demigod. So Puranjan, even if we don't look at it allegorically, even if we look at the way it is happening, so he wants to enjoy this beautiful woman. And so he's making his proposal and he's saying, I'm a great hero, I'm a great king of this world. And I have this city, which is my kingdom. So the devotees, Prabhupada explains, the demons want to enjoy this material world separately from Krishna. Devotees understand everything belongs to Krishna. And whatever he is, that's what we get and we enjoy. We are happy. The word Bhuvisprik mentioned in this sense is very significant. When the demigods sometimes come to this planet, they do not touch the ground. Puranjan could understand that this girl did not belong to the transcendental world or the higher planetary systems because her feet were touching the ground. Since every woman in this world wants her husband to be very influential, rich, and powerful, Puranjan, to seduce the girl, introduced himself as such a personality. In the material world, whether one be a man or a woman, one wants to enjoy. A man wants to enjoy a beautiful woman, and a woman wants to enjoy a powerful, opulent man. Every living entity who possesses such material desires is called Purusha, an enjoyer. Superficially, it appears that the woman is enjoyed and the man is an enjoyer, but internally, everyone is an enjoyer. Consequently, everything in this material world is called Maya. So superficially, it appears that the soul in the woman's body is being enjoyed, and the soul in the man's body is enjoyed. But factually, everybody wants to be the enjoyer. And Prabhupada explains, a man wants a beautiful woman and a woman wants to enjoy a powerful, opulent man. But this is, so the point is, we should have, and that's what we have to develop. Somehow we have forgotten that we are servants. We are not here to exploit anybody or to enjoy unjust way anything. We are just servants. In the spiritual world, everybody is a servant. Nobody is enjoying separately from Krishna. But the enjoyment there is so pure and everlasting that nobody wants to give it. Whatever service they get, like many times we study different associates of Srimati Radharani, different gopis or different manjaris. And what's their service? Every day. It's like somebody's service is to boil the milk for the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Every day. And she would just enjoy that. That is the perfection of her life. perfection of enjoyment. Somebody would just be making some flower arrangement. Somebody would just be picking flowers. Somebody would just be putting a little makeup on Srimati Radharani. And that's it. That's our whole service. But every service there, here we will think, oh, this is so boring. And what would we do? This is okay, this would last only for a few moments, and what about the rest of 23 hours, 59 minutes? What would I do? No. Even that little service would give ultimate pleasure to the soul, to that person. So that is spiritual world. And here, even if we have everything, we want more and more and more and more. Because we want to be the enjoyer. We don't want to be the servant. Yadesh mapang vikhnditendriyam savrid bhavasmit vibram mad dhruva tvayopasrishtu bhagwan manobhava prabhadate athanu grihana shobhane. Certainly, your glancing upon me today has very much agitated my mind. Your smile, which is full of shyness, but at the same time lusty, is agitating the most powerful Cupid within me. Therefore, O most beautiful one, I ask you to be merciful upon me. Everyone has lusty desires within, and as soon as one is agitated by the movement of the beautiful woman's eyebrows, the Cupid within immediately throws his arrow at the heart. Thus, one is quickly conquered by the eyebrows of a beautiful woman. When one is agitated by lusty desires, his senses are attracted by all kinds of vishaya, enjoyable things like sound, touch, form, smell, and taste. These attractive sense objects oblige one to come under the control of a woman. In this way, the conditional life of a living entity begins. Conditional life means being under the control of a woman. And certainly the living entity is always at the mercy of a man or a woman. Thus, living entities live in bondage to one another, and thus they continue this conditional material life, illusioned by Maya. So everyone has lusty desires within, and as soon as one is agitated by the movement of a beautiful woman's eyebrows, the Cupid within immediately throws his arrow at the heart. So Cupid has 5 arrows actually. So these arrows of sound, touch, form, smell, and taste. So it goes from gross to subtle. And either one of those arrows, they just when he shoots them, it just goes right through. And that's it. The person is gone. Just by the movement of beautiful women's eyebrows, and that's it. And this lusty person is completely dead. Because the idea is everybody has these lusty desires and they want to enjoy. Unknowingly thinking that we are enjoying, but we unknowingly we actually are being enjoyed by Maya, and at the same time losing our time, our energy, our consciousness, everything we are losing if we get into this kind of activities. But everybody, starting from animals, birds, human beings, in the material world, everybody is captivated by the sex desire. That's why it is said, Punsa striya mithuni bhavametam. Tayor mitho hriday granthim ahu. So this becomes a knot in the heart. This desire to enjoy the opposite sex, especially the desire to enjoy the opposite sex. And here Prabhupada says, and in this way, the conditional life of a living entity begins because he comes completely under the control of a woman. And previously, how Prabhupada had explained about Cleopatra and other women who had completely captivated the most powerful kings of her time. And thus they continue this conditional material life, illusioned by Maya. Tvadananam subhru sutaralochanam vyalam vinil lalak vrinda samvritam onniyame darsha valguvachakam yad vrideya navi mukham shuchismite. My dear girl, your face is so beautiful with your nice eyebrows and eyes with a bluish hair scattered about. In addition, very sweet sounds are coming from your mouth. Nonetheless, you are so covered with shyness that you do not see me face to face. I therefore request you, my dear girl, to smile and kindly raise your head to see me. Such a speech is typical of a living entity attracted by the opposite sex. This is called bewilderment, occasioned by becoming conditioned by material nature. When thus attracted by the beauty of the material energy, one becomes very eager to enjoy. This is elaborately described in this instance of Puranjans becoming attracted by the beautiful women. In conditional life, that living entity is attracted by a face, eyebrows, or eyes, or voice, or anything. In short, everything becomes attractive. When a man or woman is attracted by the opposite sex, it doesn't matter whether the opposite sex is beautiful or not. When a man or woman is attracted by the opposite sex, it doesn't matter whether the opposite sex is beautiful or not. The lover sees everything beautiful in the face of the beloved and thus becomes attracted. That's why it is said, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. This attraction causes the living entity to fall down in this material world. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharat. Ocean of Bharat Arjun, a conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. This condition of life is called avidya. Opposed to this avidya is real knowledge. Sri Ishopanishad distinguishes between vidya and avidya, knowledge and ignorance. By avidya, ignorance, one becomes conditioned, and by vidya, knowledge, one becomes liberated. Puranjan admits herein that he is attracted by avidya. Now he wishes to see the complete feature of avidya and to so requests the girl to raise her head so that he can see her face to face. He thus wishes to see the various features that make avidya attractive. So this is a story of everybody actually. We get so bewildered by looking at the opposite sex. Women looking at men and men looking at women. And like Prabhupada said, whether they're attractive or not, it doesn't matter. Whether they're beautiful or not, doesn't matter. Just the person gets attracted to somebody and that's it. And then that's it. He cannot think of anything. He doesn't like to see anything else. And this attraction causes the living entity to fall down in this material And that's why knowledge helps. But not only knowledge that will help, is a realized knowledge, not just a gyan, but vigyan, and then the realizations out of that. Because theoretical knowledge in Kali Yuga, especially in Kali Yuga, we are so fallen. Theoretical knowledge, how long does it remain in our heads? Not for too long. So we have to apply it and then get the realizations. And then more we advance the spiritual life, the realizations are different. Realizations become deeper and deeper. And that's where the progress is. But at the same time, I mean, we talk about all the living entities getting attracted by the opposite sex. And the issue is this tendency is there even in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why we have this tendency. Of course, his tendency is completely pure, transcendental. How much he gets attracted by looking at Srimati Radharani. If you have heard of, there's a prayer, Radha Kripa Kataksha. So Srimati Radharani, of course, Krishna doesn't need the Kripa Kataksha. So this Kataksh means looking sideways. Not even looking straight, sideways. So Srimati Radharani, she looks only at Krishna, like it is explained somehow. I have read it, it is theoretical, I haven't understood anything of it. It's like she gives her sidelong glance at Krishna, only half of that. Like 1/4, she's looking out at her servants, 1/4 she's looking out for elders, and half of the sidelong glance towards Krishna. And Krishna, just seeing that glance of Srimati Radharani, his turban becomes loose, his flute falls off from his hands, his dhoti becomes loose. He just loses all his control. Of course, Srimati Radharani is the most beautiful person in the whole creation and beyond that, no doubt about it. But the love that she has for Krishna, beyond that beauty, that's what really attracts him. And he just gets completely controlled. That's a 25th quality of Srimati Radharani, that she completely controls Krishna by her service, not just by beauty and not for exploitation. But here in the material world, we get controlled, and so much so that like man gets controlled by women, and he does everything to satisfy, to please her, even all sorts of sinful, illegal activities, and sometimes even kicks his parents out, and there's so many horrible things we have heard. That's a difference between material and spiritual world. But the point is this attraction of opposite sex. It's there in Krishna also. That's why we have it. But we have to purify it. That's all. By adopting the mood of service. And even if the mood is not there, by adopting the activities of service. Serve. And then the mood will change. Mood of service will come. So thank you all very much. We'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful and safety. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.